What's up, everybody? Today I'm here to talk about Stuff of Nightmares Volume 2, Red Murder. This just came out recently, and I have 3 different cover variants here. I'll show you guys real quick. So this is the main cover. This is, I guess, the full art, or what's known as the Virgin variant. It doesn't have like the title up here. And then the cover is like kind of embossed a little bit. And then I think it's supposed to be glow in the dark. I haven't attempted it to see if it works. I don't think it does because the last volume that came out had these glow-in-the-dark covers, and they don't really glow, so I'm not sure why they're called that. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try this one, see if it does, but I don't think it will. But this is the main cover here. It's pretty cool. I like the art on this. You have the Nightmare Keeper up here in this corner, and then R.L. Stine over here in this corner. And hopefully you guys can see this okay. The setup that I have like a stand with my phone on it and like a ring light in the background, but it's not really the best, and I notice it does glare a lot. So hopefully it's not too bad and you guys can see that. But I have that one. I have this cover variant, which is like a Fear Street homage cover. There's been a Fear Street homage for all of these Stuff of Nightmares, including the next one coming out, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. I do really like these. I'm definitely going to be getting all of those cover variants. And then we have this one, which is probably my favorite. And this is like a 1:10 ratio variant, I want to say. And this one also had the full art / Virgin variant. And I debated whether or not I wanted that one. But I opted to go for this one that has the title on it. And then the title down here, because I already have that full art of the other one. So I figured I'd just get the one the title for this one. But yeah, I really love the cover art on this one. It's awesome. I'm not really sure what's going on. There's a lot going on here. It looks like the Nightmare Keeper is resting in his coffin, and there's some kind of like crazy spider webs all around him and these giant like claw things. I don't know. But it's really cool looking. I really like it. So yeah, those are my cover variants. For the sake of the video, I'll probably just hold up. Actually, this was the one that I read from. The Fear Street one, so I'll just hold this one up, I guess, for the sake of the review. So yeah, Red Murder. This just came out, and this is just a short one-shot issue, so it's one single story contained in this issue here. The last Stuff of Nightmares volume was a 4-issue comic. This one will probably be a short review because, again, there's really not a lot to it. It's just this one short story in this issue, so yeah. So Red Murder is about this story within a story, basically. It's about this comic book villain or hero. I'm not really sure what he is, but he's this comic book character named Red Murder. And the guy who created Red Murder is kind of disgruntled. The story opens with him in an interview, and the guy is asking him some questions about like his success and failures. Red Murder is a very popular like icon. There's being movies and merchandise and product made after this character. But unfortunately, the creator of Red Murder, the original writer of this comic book, isn't really getting revenue from any of this. He's kind of like struggling, I guess, a little bit and not really getting the attention he deserves. A lot of people don't even know who this guy is. And what happens is somebody dressed up or like disguised as this Red Murder character starts killing people for real, trying to like bring attention to this, I guess, kind of like bringing it to life, almost, the comic book. And so this whole story is kind of like a meta type story in a way. It reminds me a lot of like the Scream movies. And there's also some humor in here, not a lot, but a little bit of like subtle humor, a couple references that kind of like break the fourth wall a little bit. None of it's like glaringly obvious, but there is a little bit of that there. And I'll just be upfront. Normally, I'm not a big fan of these types of stories. I don't know why. It's just not something that fits my taste. I don't like meta type stories typically at all. Just something about it that like, I guess like brings awareness to reality, or something that's like self-referencing itself. Just kind of takes me out of the story, and sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. Here, I didn't really mind it all that much. I thought it was actually kind of clever. I enjoyed it for the most part. But yeah, I really can't talk about the story a whole lot more without spoiling anything. Like I said, it's really short. But yeah, it's basically about this guy. Somebody's dressed up as Red Murder going around killing people. And it's kind of like a mystery of who this person is. We have a couple of different suspects of who it might be. We get a big twist at the end, of course, the reveal of who the killer is. I found it to be a little bit predictable, but this is coming from somebody who's read R.L. Stine his entire life and knows R.L. Stine's style of storytelling very well. So someone who might not be as familiar with his style might not be able to predict it as easily. But yeah, so that's pretty much Red Murder in a nutshell. Again, there's really not a whole lot I can say about it. I did enjoy it for what it was. I think I gave it like a 3 out of 5 stars. It was fine. It was decent. I think I preferred the first Stuff of Nightmares volume a little bit more. I think this one could have been stretched out a little bit more too. I think I would have preferred maybe like a 2-issue comic run with this. I don't know if that's a thing, but I think this story could have had just a little bit more breathing room, but it definitely didn't need to be, for the type of story this didn't need to be like a 4-issue comic like the last one was, in my opinion. That would have been just too much, I think. But it could have been stretched out, I think, just a little bit longer. And one thing, too, that I was a little bit disappointed with this one is I feel like it wasn't quite as gory and detailed enough with the illustrations as in the previous volume of Stuff of Nightmares. If you've read the first Stuff of Nightmares volume, you know what I'm talking about. There's some pretty gory and illustrated scenes of like the creatures in that volume like dismembering people, and it's awesome. In this one, we didn't really get too much action or violence and gore in it. We got a little bit. There were some couple of nice illustrations of the Red Murder character chopping up some people, but it didn't really give me that I guess craving I was looking for of blood. I don't know. And he also, this is one thing, this is just kind of a nitpick, I guess, but the Red Murder also has this really cringy quote or like catchphrase that he does right before he's about to kill somebody. What is it? I think he says, "Welcome to the Murderverse," or something along those lines. It was kind of cringy. I could have done without that, honestly. That's just a personal preference thing. I didn't really like that. Just a little bit cringe. But yeah, that's pretty much Red Murder in a nutshell. It was decent. It was fine. 3 out of 5 stars. There's really not a whole lot to talk about with it. You can't really say much without spoiling anything. But, however, I am very looking forward to the next Stuff of Nightmares volume coming out very soon. And I believe this next one coming out is going to be a one-shot issue as well. I'm going to open up my comic real quick so I can actually show you guys what this is. Try to be careful with it, too. I want to try to keep these comics in good condition if I can. Flip to the back real quick if I can find it. Okay. So at the end, we get a short little teaser from the Nightmare Keeper. Hopefully this is showing up and there's not too much of a glare. He gives us a little tease for the next Stuff of Nightmares volume coming out called Sleigh Ride, a special Christmas edition of Stuff of Nightmares comic, which I am super, super stoked for because even though this one I wasn't in love with, I still love these Stuff of Nightmare comics, and I hope R.L. Stine keeps doing this until forever. That's actually one more thing I almost forgot to mention, is the Nightmare Keeper who opens up the story. Let me flip to the first page here. Right here. This guy is awesome. He is like my favorite part about these comics. It's like R.L. Stine's version of the Crypt Keeper. He just opens up the story and kind of introduces it. He has like some witty jokes and puns and stuff. And he's really just badass looking too, if I'm being honest. I love his design. I love his lines and stuff. It's super awesome. He's like my favorite part about these. So yeah, that's Stuff of Nightmares, Red Murder, Volume 2. If you guys have read that, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. And that's all I have for today, guys. So, peace.